Hey, good evening, all. So we'll go ahead and start the review for the final in SPED 801 BC. I'm going to go over several of the questions. It'll be very similar in nature to what you're going to see on the final exam. All the questions are going to be either multiple choice and or true false. So I'll read off some of the questions. This is being recorded. We'll pop it up on Blackboard so you can go back and review it, reviewing the questions. So some examples of questions you may see. First question states, this law is responsible for such thing as curb cuts, lever door handles, and ramps in place of steps. Some options for answers that may provide you is IDEA, ESEA, sections 504, or ADA. The next example, this particular law is considered an anti-discrimination law. May give you some examples such as IDEA, Section 504, ESEA, or all of the above. Example number 3, Public Law 94142 is the precursor for this law. Some options for answers may be IDEA, Section 504, ADA, ESEA. Number 4, Brown versus the Board of Education. Options to go with it. Stopped segregation in schools by gender, stopped segregation in school by race, allowed handicapped students to attend school, outlined FAPE, F-A-P-E. Example 5, Park, P-A-R-C versus Pennsylvania, refers to one of the court cases that we studied earlier in the semester that you reviewed. Options to go with this is possible answers. Case was decided in 1972. It allowed mentally retarded or MR students to attend school. Option C gave mentally retarded MR students due process rights, or all of the above. Bear with me just a minute here. I lost track of my questions. Child find can be accomplished by using the following method. MTSS, multi-tiered systems of support. Option 2, early childhood screenings. Option 3, SIT, SIT process. Option 4, all the above. Next one, multiple choice. Child find. Option 1 is voluntary. Option 2 uses only parent referrals. Option 3 requires public notice of practices. And the last option is not appropriate for preschool. The next one, section 504. 4 options it gives you may be, has a narrower interpretation than does IDEA, uses the terms substantially limits and major life activity within the definition. Next option applies to business, and the next one does not require FAPE or FAPE. The next question, example question, MTSS. Option 1 is a multi-tiered system of support, has 4 tiers, does not collect data, or the last option, core instruction that covers about 20% of students. Next example question, transition from part C to part B. A, or option 1, requires writing a new IFSP. Option 2 involves children turning 3. Option C does not require evaluation and placement criteria. Option 4 has no effect on education for preschool aged children. The next sample question. The required members of an IEP team are 1, principal or LEA, 2, general ed teacher and special ed teacher, 3, parents, option 4, all of the above. Next sample question, an IEP must have Option 1, agreement by all teachers to provide accommodations in the general ed classroom. Option 2, no specially designed instruction. Option 3, present levels of academic and functional performance statements. Option 4, no determination for state testing. Next question, sample question. Rule outs when determining eligibility are: option 1, lack of instruction in math and reading. Option 2, student need for special education services. Option 3, student has limited English proficiency. And option 4, both options 1 and 3. Next sample question, least restrictive environment, LRE, is determined. Option 1, by the principal. Option 2, by the special education teacher. Option 3, by the parent. Option 4, by the IEP team. FAPE, FAPE, stands for Free Active Public Education. Forced Appropriate Public Education. Free Appropriate Education, or the last option, Free Appropriate Private Education. Next simple question. Bear with me just a minute. Accommodations and modifications need to have listed: option 1, frequency. Option 2, location. Option 3, duration. Option 4, all of the above. Next sample question. Typical type of grievance procedures is: option 1, mediation. 2, formal complaint. 3, due process. 4, all the above. Next question. A student with an IEP may be moved to a 45-day interim alternative educational setting for: option 1, illegal drugs or possession or distribution. Option 2, weapons. Option 3, seriously bodily injury. Option 4, all the above. I'm going to get into some true false questions for you, or statements. The Elementary Secondary Education Act, ESEA, was passed as part of the War on Poverty and gave monies to help disadvantaged students. True or false statement? Next one, true or false? The Elementary and Secondary Education Act, ESEA, has never been reauthorized. True or false? Next statement, part of IDA changes was to use person-first language and change handicaps to disabilities. True or false statement? Next example, parents of children not protected by IDEA have no rights to privacy and confidentiality. True or false? Next statement, MTSS information cannot be used to document progress or to make a referral for special education evaluation. True or false? Next statement, IDEA requires evaluation every 3 years. True or false? Next statement, Section 504 services are carried out by special education personnel. True or false? Next example, schools need to appoint a 504 coordinator. True or false? Next item, Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, covers business and private enterprise. True or false? Next statement, new buildings now have to meet ADA requirements. True or false? Next, parents must give consent for initial evaluation. True or false? Next item, Parents are not part of the evaluation team. True or false? Parents are not part of the evaluation team. Next item, you have 60 calendar days to complete an evaluation once consent has been assigned. You have 60 calendar days to complete an evaluation once consent has been signed. True or false statement? Next item, children must meet eligibility criteria to be identified as needing special education services. True or false? Children must meet eligibility criteria to be identified as needing special education services. Next sample. A child may be deemed eligible but not need special education services. Repeat that. A child may be deemed eligible but not need special education services. True or false statement? Next item, testing may also include occupational therapy, OT, and physical therapy, PT, if needed, in addition to academic testing. True or false statement? Next item, if a doctor writes a prescription, the team must follow it. True or false? If a doctor writes a prescription, the team must follow it. Next item, an evaluation team consists of the school psychologist and the special education teacher. True or false? An evaluation team consists of the school psychologist and the special education teacher. Next item, an IEP must be reviewed annually. An IEP must be reviewed annually. True or false statement? Next item, IQ is the only test needed to determine eligibility. IQ is the only test needed to determine eligibility. True or false? Next item, dyslexia is covered under specific learning disability. Dyslexia is covered under specific learning disability. True or false? Children with an IEP are entitled to confidentiality. Children with an IEP are entitled to confidentiality. Next item, gifted students are covered under IDEA. Gifted students are covered under IDEA. Next item, LRE is not part of FAPE. LRE is not part of FAPE, F-A-P-E. True or false? Next item, the Andrew decision made no changes to how IEP services are provided. The Andrew decision, court case we covered in class this semester, made no changes to how IEP services are provided. True or false statement? Next item, accommodations and modifications help level the playing field for children with disabilities. Next item, extended school year, ESY services are not part of the IEP. Extended school year services are not part of the IEP. True or false? Next item, child find is not required for students that are homeschooled. Child find is not required for students that are homeschooled. True or false statement? Next item, SPED students are rarely bullied. SPED or special education students are rarely bullied. True or false? Next item, a behavior intervention plan or BIP may be part of an IEP. A behavior intervention plan may be part of an IEP. True or false statement? Next item, a principal has 15 days of out-of-school suspension they can use before procedural rights are affected. Okay, true or false? Last item, manifestation determinations are used for every behavior offense by a student on an IEP. True or false statement? Manifestation determinations are used for every behavior offense by an IEP student. True or false? That concludes the list of sample questions that will correlate directly with questions that you're going to see on that final exam. As I mentioned in our last meeting, please remember that the final exam is timed. So once you initiate the start button, the timer will start. I believe there's 50 questions on this exam, and it will give you, I believe it's a 2-hour time limit, if I remember correctly. So just please watch the time. It will be a countdown timer that you can see on that screen to kind of monitor your progress. You will see probably a majority of the test ends up being true, false, but you will see true, false, and multiple choice. But going back and reviewing this, you'll see a majority of them are going to be true, false statements, mainly covering some of the basic concepts related to law-related items in special education, and also referencing some of the court cases that were part of your assigned readings throughout this course. I will open the final this evening. It is Tuesday, May the 10th. I will make that available this evening, and you will have all the way through this Sunday evening at 11:59 p.m. to submit. You can take the final at any time that it's convenient for you, as long as you have it completed and submitted before that Sunday night deadline. Wish you guys the best of luck. Enjoyed working with you this semester in class. Good luck on the final, and good luck in your future endeavors. Thank you.